How is the royal family? I pray that everyone is doing well. Well, my royal family, I'm going to show a few videos to y'all. And I had watched an exclusive news segment on CNN, and they went actually to the actual site where Iran launched their missiles. And when you really get a on the ground bird's eye view of the destruction, and then you really look at the soldiers from America that they have sent over there, you know they are in over their head. Because what I was looking at, I was like, damn, they got them out there sloppy like that. And then I have a bonus video for the royal family. There is some misconceptions that are going on that America is spewing their propaganda. And I will unpack that in the bonus video. So let's go on this journey. And first one we gonna watch here. This video is a little slightly over a minute, but this is the base. Let me blow this up. And let's look at this. It's got some janky music to it. I'll cut it down as soon as I cut this on. And so they're going to show you what the before and after. And then I got one more to show y'all. And then I'm going to get into this exclusive video that I want y'all to see. Let's see. Let me bring this back as far as I can. Okay. Let's roll with it. Okay, my royal family, I wanted y'all to see that. Let me go back to something a little back, just a little taste here. Now look at that. This is an American military base, and you can seeing, you know, from up high with their drones. They're nothing more to me than sitting ducks. I know they got their military power, but I don't see nothing out here protecting them. And then when you look beyond the horizons, look at that, all that around them. They just out there like that, wide open. This stuff is deep. So let's get into this next video. And let's hear what the enemy got to say.
Today, Iran's supreme leader called his country's attack a slap in the face of America. Well, tonight we're learning more about the missiles, where they hit, and how U.S. forces knew they were coming. David Martin has more from the Pentagon.
The missiles were launched from 3 different locations in western Iran, only minutes flying time from their targets in Iraq. U.S. officials say Iran launched a total of 16 short to medium-range missiles, mostly at Al-Assad Air Base northwest of Baghdad, but also some at Erbil in northern Iraq. Commercial satellite photos of Al-Assad show the craters left by the 1,000 and 2,000-pound warheads. Some officials suggested Iran had aimed to miss, in other words, hit the bases without causing casualties. But Joint Chiefs Chairman General Mark Milley, speaking to reporters off camera, didn't think so.
They were intended to cause structural damage, destroy vehicles and equipment and aircraft, and to kill personnel.
U.S. intelligence had been watching for days as Iran brought its missile force to a higher state of alert. Iranian television showed elaborate underground bunkers where the missiles could be prepared for launch out of sight from spy satellites. Still, a defense official said the bases in Iraq had multiple hours warning before the launches. Plenty of time for troops to take shelter in bunkers, a frequent drill since they are used to being shelled by local militias. Our movement saved American lives, one officer said.
No American or Iraqi lives were lost because of the precautions taken, the dispersal of forces, and an early warning system that worked very well.
General Milley says he expects Iranian-backed militias in Iraq and elsewhere to continue attacking American positions. Just a short time ago, 2 rockets landed in Baghdad's green zone outside the American embassy. This time, there were no casualties. Nora?
All right, David, thank you.
Okay, let me tell y'all something, my royal family. See, this country is so quick to be braggadocious. You're in a damn war. You don't speak on anything. You don't give up anything. See, these people is listening to the media too. And how are you protecting the American soldiers? By being quick to being braggadocious. So you had warning that y'all was going to be hit. And then you so gleeful, you want the other side to know, oh, we already hit to your gang. So they know that there's a breach someplace. And they got high power equipment too. And they're going to find it. Trust and believe they're going to find it. Trust and believe. See, they knowing how America move. And they're going to catch them. And the casualties going to be real big. So far, it's 2. It's already been 2 that they have announced today. But trust and believe, they're going to catch them. Because I don't believe you're supposed to run your damn mouth in the middle of a war. But see, that's how Trump and his folks get down. Braggadocious. So let's get into this exclusive video. And then after that, we're going to get into this bonus one.
The tensions between the United States and Iran appear to have cooled for now. But U.S. troops stationed at Al-Assad Air Base in Iraq are still on high alert days after the Iranians struck the base with ballistic missiles. CNN's Arwa Damon is the first journalist to tour the base and get an exclusive glimpse into what it was like during those potentially deadly attacks. Arwa joins us now live from Baghdad. Arwa, this is a remarkable look inside.
It really is, and let's just warn our viewers that there is some pretty intense language off the top of this story, but going there really gave us an idea of just how potentially lethal these attacks could have been.
Holy God damn! Oh shit, bro.
American forces are not used to being on the receiving end of this kind of firepower.
Another one.
They are usually the ones delivering it.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I was scared at the moment, but it happened. It's something that we were ready for, ready as can be.
Ready for some sort of ground attack by Iran's proxies. Ready for mortars and rockets. But this base is not equipped to defend against ballistic missiles. On any other night, some of the 2,500 troops and contractors would have been in the areas hit.
The ballistic missile reporting started to come in a couple hours before the event, and so at that point we were really scrambling on how to protect against that, and so it really came down to dispersion, putting space between people, and then also getting them into hardened bunkers just to provide that protection.
At 11 p.m., those who could started to hunker down in bunkers built by their former enemy.
This is a Saddam Hussein era bunker.
It is. So we felt we'd be somewhat safe in here because it was designed to take, some kind of hit, or it was built for, ballistic missiles.
At 1:34 a.m., the first missiles hit.
And these doors, every time one of the missiles hit, the doors would kind of sink in.
Dozens of troops were still out in the open, holding their positions to protect the base. There was still the threat of incoming rockets, mortars, and a ground assault. Pilots were still at their stations operating drones.
As I was going across the gravel, I looked out to the eastern sky and I see this just orange streak. So I started sprinting, yelling incoming, getting everybody kind of warning, and then it hit. So, yeah.
Flames swallowed up the drone team's living quarters. Some 30 troops would have been sleeping here had they not been ready. Others rushed around the base as missiles came down, looking for anyone who may have been injured, checking on the base's defenses. Along the base perimeter, young soldiers on their first tour fought the instinct to flee and stayed, manning the guard towers.
It was definitely scary at first, but we both knew we had a job to do, manning the tower, keeping eyes front. So we had to do that more than anything. Focused on that, trying not to focus on everything behind us.
When one strike hit too close, they vaulted into the back of a truck and held their position there. It was a night unlike any here had experienced, hunkered down for about 2 hours, unable to fight back. Some crammed into bunkers that weren't built to withstand missiles like these.
These kinds of small bunkers exist throughout the base, but they're meant to protect against rockets and mortars. The ballistic missiles that were fired are about 3,000 times more powerful than that. The blast from this one knocked over a 4-ton T-wall, but if that hadn't happened, those who were sheltering here probably would not have survived.
Come daybreak, fear of finding out who was killed or wounded was eclipsed by the joyous shock that no one was.
It's like, what are those reunions like when you kind of see someone who you're close to and you realize that you're both okay?
It's a warm feeling deep in the heart that all your friends, your family here is okay. It just felt like forever since I'd seen my guys, and there's a lot of hugging and a lot of tears and a lot of it's just a great feeling knowing that all your people are okay.
And this is where you used to?
Yeah, this is my room. A little bit more open floor plan now, but yeah, my bunk was right in the corner right there, and this is my neighbor up here. Everything's obviously gone. It's just happy no one was inside,
It's kind of freaky looking at it like this, isn't it?
Yeah. It's surreal. I'm not bothered looking at it. It's just, it's a reminder. Threat still exists.
I think, we have each other. We had each other that night. And it's a brotherhood that will never break because of it.
Does it change your perspective on life?
It does. It does. It could, it could be over in in an instant. It really does. And it really makes me value mostly my team.
The base is still on high alert. The dining facility is open, but people eat elsewhere to avoid a large crowd gathering.
We got a little bit of notification.
The military says they are ready for what may come next. Iran's proxies on the ground continue to vow revenge. Even for those who have seen war before, this was unlike any other battlefield experience. The overwhelming feeling of helplessness that comes with being under ballistic missile attack, to be at the mercy of the enemy, one that could strike again, even if it's not like this.
And Allison, there's been quite a bit of speculation and analysts saying that perhaps Iran was trying to avoid U.S. casualties. Well, talk to anyone on that base and they will tell you that that most certainly was not the case.
Arwa, your images, we just would not have been able to see that. It was so much worse than what I had imagined in my mind's eye in terms of the aftermath. And when you talked about that wall, that's where they were sheltering and had that heavy cement wall not fallen, who knows what would have happened. I mean, that reporting is just really vital for us to see.
Yeah, no question the missiles hit with deadly force wherever they were aimed at. Arwa, terrific reporting. Thanks so much for being with us.
All right, my royal family. So, they shouldn't have shown that. They shouldn't have shown that Iran pretty much told a lining out of the base, and they're still revealing shit. And then you get an exclusive reporter to come over there and, you know, they want to show shit. You don't show anything. And then they're expressing how they feel. You don't show defeat. You stand very firm on your position. And then you got seasoned people over there like, I ain't never dealt with none of this like this before. You in enemy territory. Then you got a president over there that can't keep his fucking mouth shut. He braggadocious, you know? And I know a lot of y'all know that I worked in the construction field. I worked what they would consider man's work. I ain't never wanted to be no man. I just wanted to make the money he made. Me personally, don't believe a woman has no business having, and that might be, may not, I don't know, have no business in anybody's war. Because if they catch your ass, you the booty. Listen to True Royal. I know exactly what I'm talking about. Our Father made male and female, and we all got to understand our positions and our place. That goes on both sides. I just thought I would throw that out. Now, the bonus video. So braggadocious here. Look how nasty he look. He likes to do a lot of lying, a lot of threatening, and then the media, you know, they play their part too with their propaganda. Let's check this out. Now I want y'all to pay real close attention to what I got here before I play this. Okay, don't go by necessarily what you read all the time. It says Europe urges Iran to keep nuclear deal. Now who broke the fucking deal? Okay, now they got people, they showing people out here marching, and Trump is telling them, threatening the Iranian government and military and all. Don't you bother those protesters. But look at those pictures real close. Down with USA. Down with USA. I see that twice. On top of that, notice the shots that most of the shots that they are showing of the protesters are over there about the plane being shot down. They tight shots. They're not aerial like we seen when they had this general's funeral. I pay real close attention to things like that. And language. You got to look in the background. Sometimes I don't even look what's in front of me. I look what's way in the back. But this is right up front. I just wanted to point that out. But they're going to talk about what they are trying to do with this nuclear deal. And the part I don't get is Iran didn't break the shit. Trump did it.
Well, I guess part of the character of this is that we don't know what's going to happen next. We can't predict what actions will take place from either side. We saw on Friday the United States applying more secondary and primary sanctions against Iran and officials close to the Iranian regime. We saw the Iranians accept responsibility for downing the Ukrainian plane, and also, as we know, as you mentioned there, Rosie, arresting, albeit for a short while, the UK ambassador. Here in Brussels, the priority really will be to keep tensions at bay and to really open channels or keep channels open for both sides to conduct some sort of diplomacy. I think that's where the EU says its strong ability to engage is. We saw an emergency Foreign Affairs Council meeting with all EU foreign affairs ministers on Friday. every one of them in unison saying that they are recommitting to the Iran deal, in spite of the fact that the United States has called on all the other partners, the UN Security Council and the EU, to walk away from it. Very much here in Brussels, they're standing by it.
They made it very clear last week, the EU, that they were focused on restoring, as you mentioned, the nuclear deal, but also on de-escalation. Do they have a unified approach about how best to go forward? And if so, what is that?
Well, that's an interesting question, Rosie, because while the EU is saying it's committed to the Iran deal, and on Friday once again said that it wants Iran to get back to the table, because as we know, a week ago, the Iranians said they're withdrawing from it. And since the America pulled out of it, Iran has been breaching the limits of the Iran deal. The EU says it's committed to the JCPOA, but it wasn't able to explain how it would get both sides back on track. So even just saying that the Iran deal should be preserved is not enough to ensure that actually both sides are committing to it, because as we know, Iran needs to commit to it to ensure that nuclear weapons are taken off the table, and the United States has to play its part to then lift sanctions from Iran, and that doesn't seem to be in play. There doesn't seem to be any appetite here in Brussels for a JCPOA too. Joseph Borrell, the EU's foreign policy chief, he said at the weekend that he was concerned about the arrest of the UK ambassador, wants to ensure that the EU can play its role from diplomatic way, but again wasn't able to say whether or not the EU would commit to reopening the JCPOA. He said the Iran deal was painstakingly negotiated, it's incredibly complex, and the one that's on the table is the one that they'll be looking to keep intact.
All right, so did y'all hear that? Y'all heard that? See, United States they're not genuine. They're not genuine. This greasy motherfucker over here run his damn mouth way too much. And yes, naturally you're going to have people that protest too. But did you look at that real close? Tight shots. It wasn't a whole lot of people. And so America is disingenuous. And their leader is disingenuous. He full of crap. He too braggadocious, and his cronies who getting their pockets filled then pumped his head up and gonna be about that life. And then you got these soldiers over there. Some of them, this is the first time they ever even experienced war, and they over there shit out of luck, green in a motherfucker. See, this is one thing that I like about having social media. You can go check abroad. You can go find out, possibly what's going on, because they media lie too. Don't get me wrong. They lie too. But when you start tying in the two and reading in between the lines, you know about the fuckery. We know about the fuckery in America. And these folks know about the fuckery in their country too. So it go hand in hand. But when it comes to Iran, these people was not seeking. This country was in no imminent threat. And this motherfucker lying. And then he want to boast himself up and had the nerves to tell these folks, well, if you mess with these people over here protesting, then basically we're going to do something. Okay, I see them burning 4 flags all together. Now I see the United States flag. See, they ain't going to show that shit. They ain't going to show that. They not going to show that. And that may mean something different to them than to us. But we seen no signs up there. So they were showing one thing, and then they showing another thing with the pictures. Read in between the lines, my royal family. Don't always look what's in front of you. Look what's behind you. Look in between the cracks. Because things sometimes that people put in front of you may be a bold-faced lie or the actual truth. And we seen what was in front of us at that particular time. It was saying something else different. So we shall see how this progress. And we know, Trump and his folks is lying through their teeth about us being an imminent threat. The last thing I want to say is, okay, the EU not supporting this country at all. So since nobody's supporting them, the only ones left to support this country is this greedy motherfucker here. Netanyahu, he left no other choice because they depend exclusively on American for American dollars. Have no other choice to fight. So you put your folks out there, Netanyahu, with your racist ass, your evil, pompous, thievery ass. You and your wife been stealing money from your country. So you get your little ragtag army out there to do what y'all gotta do. You left no other choice. You see how shit can go, my royal family? You see that? He's left no other choice. Nobody not gonna back this country. And Israel has no choice. Because America gonna look right at them. It's unspoken. Look how our father moved. Our father about that life. He ain't to be taunted. So I'll leave that right there, my royal family. So, render your voice with your beautiful divine words. And as always, my royal family, I thank you for your love. I thank you for your support. And with that said, Ashe.